Hi everyone, it's Cal. I hope you're doing well. I'm in my kitchen, of course, and I wanted to just pop on and say a few things about spirituality because it might be good to hear it. Spirituality in slow motion really is the process of individuation. Individuation is a term that Carl Jung used or created. And what it really means, in a nutshell, is to bring the personality into its fullness in the world. And I wanted to just give a little reminder that every so often I'm popping up about these archetypes. Well, the archetypes are the stars sort of local to the planet, and they are giving us the signals of how to attune ourselves, because we are a frequency and we are becoming gods, greater and greater and greater. We've spiraled up through this thing called, that has been coined, Darwinism, and morphed into different shapes. And now that we are in the form of human, we are going to learn to control our mind. And that is no easy task. You either control your mind or somebody controls it for you. And the planet is under attack to gain that control. And of course, this is the way to freedom, to have full control over your mind. Now, if you look at your body in an x-ray, you can kind of see with the shape of your spine. I mean, you have to wonder where everything comes from, right? And if you have your eyes open and you can connect the dots, you can see that, everything is developing a stronger and greater spine. This spine is a light wave in the making, and each level of this spine has a frequency. And this frequency along the spine, if we just turn it this way, is an algorithm. And the algorithm is denoted by very specific vibrations. And these vibrations, we know them. These vibrations live inside our body and our mind. And that's because mind lives not just in the head, but all through the body. It's the king and queen that live in the head. And when we control our mind, we control all our body processes. This is the critical thing, to control all our body processes for perfect health, and then move into greater and greater states of control and heights of being, where you can reach out to others. That's a whole nother topic. So these frequencies that live at each stage of your body this way, the center point is denoted by a chakra. These chakras are, when they are working properly and they are connected, they are the combination of a positive and negative force. And this positive and negative force can be seen as male and female force all the way up your body and into your neck and into your head, and so on and so forth. You are becoming a strand of cosmic DNA, and there's a certain frequency to it. Now, the zodiacs denote the frequency of the algorithm of God, which is what you are growing into. And understanding these frequencies is understanding the balance between the dark and the light, the masculine, the feminine, the yin, the yang. And when we understand how these resonate through our body, through emotions, then we can begin to balance them and bring our bodies and mind together to harmonize our mind within and align to the center, because we always want to align this male and female in the center, because when they marry, that's where power happens, and then it's birthed to the next level, right? So this is the whole thing about the zodiac code, how critical it is to understanding it. Now, the algorithm of God, you know, there's the creator and the creatrix, the male and the female. And the male has 6, and it reflects its opposite in 6 of the female, which form the 12. Now, there are many ways to break this down. I use the Western zodiac to look at the basic frequencies of your organs within, of the 12 basic organs on the meridian wheel. So I do use Chinese medicine to look at not just the geometry of it, but the range of frequency and the flow of the frequency. And we have the archetypes to tell us the type of frequency that we can create to balance out our organs, to radiate in a larger vibratory frequency than we are right now. We are learning to understand these frequencies, and sometimes we're not linking them to the zodiac, but the zodiac is actually the all, and this is why they were so revered by our ancestors. We are actually growing into the knowledge of our ancestors, and that knowledge is phenomenal. We think we're so smart now, forget it. Our ancestors were amazing. They understood frequency and how to use it. So if you think of an amoeba strip, you can think of the whole archetypes as originating sort of like falling into the mother and then circling back on the ladder to go back out, kind of like an amoeba strip, how it flips out. An amoeba strip is kind of a good analogy. It's the opposite. So it is the reflection in the mother that is the clear opposite from the father. And this is happening within you. And these forces, two at each level, need to unite. So if we're looking at the meridian wheel, there are 2 organs that are opposite, and those 2 organs represent sort of the step ladder right up your chakras, all the way up through your body and your mind. I will just leave it there. I know some of this might not make sense, but I think you can probably clearly see that there is a total alignment between the human body and the archetypes beyond, you know, getting personal charts and astrological readings of any kind. They are actually, the archetypes are a very, very fundamental kind of blueprint to our emotional being. And that's why we all understand the same language of our emotions. You know, he was angry, or she was happy, or he was very embarrassed, or she was very upset, or she was elated. You know, there is a certain toolkit of emotions, and these emotions fit right into these archetypes, this blueprint within our being. And that's why understanding them, reconciling them, is so vital and paramount to having a large vibration, a large positive vibration, and one that is centered and rooted. Most vibrations are sort of going like this. They're all over the map, and they are kind of triggered by our external world. But what if they weren't? What if we had such a rooted understanding of our emotions and how they're just flooding to the surface of us, and how we can control them, so that we would be like a buoy our center would be like a buoy, in a storm. We would be so grounded and so rooted. So this is the importance of understanding the zodiac code. And this is why I have spent 14 years, obsession, 14 years unraveling it. And I do believe that this is the foundational, how do you say, blueprint to understanding the psyche. Now, this doesn't mean all the psyche. This is just the fundamental blueprint of understanding the emotions. And once the emotions are harnessed, then the being can reconcile all the fragmented parts of itself and be living a really authentic life, one that is absolutely full of curiosity and joy, and not harbored by sort of the weights of the world or the weights of the emotional fragmented parts of oneself. And this is why the process of spirituality or individuation is so vital, so that everybody can live their absolute best life, so everybody can feel that sense of inner freedom and that curiosity towards life, and be fully immersing themselves in the world, and allowing their personality to come forth without feeling inhibited or pulled back or jarred in some way. This is spirituality, and this is why spirituality is so vital. It is the buoy in a storm. And with all these things hitting us, all this media coming at us 24/7, and, work, who knows what they're doing, coming down the pipes with next at work, that can be shocking. Or, family life too and for me, family life was, the most shocking. And so the process of individuation or developing spiritually, which is what you're here on the planet to do, is your most vital work. It is the work beyond all work, beyond making millions, okay? You go ahead, you make millions, but you're not totally developing spirituality. Some aspects of your chakras are developing, but you're not fully encompassed. You want to make sure that you're fully encompassing a variety of, the full array of all the archetypes, in order to feel that fullness, that centeredness, that feeling of complete, that reconciling of all parts of yourselves. And that is the basis and the foundation of spirituality, which is the process of individuation. Now, much of this has been lost, but all religions teach a certain amount of goodness that do feed these plexus, these chakras, these different components. And the chakras are multifaceted, but we really do talk about them in very basic ways. And if you haven't watched the webinar, I encourage you to do it. I'm actually going to stop selling that webinar. I sell it for just $15, and start doing it in person in the future, because there's just so many questions and there's just so much more to it. So I hope that I was clear about this. I wanted to talk about the importance of spirituality. Nobody really says what spirituality actually is, but spirituality is the process of, I like to use the term individuation, which was a word that Jung made, but he really brought light to kind of the process in his own way, and that word seems fitting. And that's how we are growing ourselves. We are here growing our not just our spiritual lives are growing us, and this being able to control our mind is part of the process. And when you become very still, either through controlling the mind in a psychological way, or controlling the mind through meditation, or maybe there are various other practices, I'm sure there are. When you slow everything down and you get to that quiet point, then the voice of the heart can truly speak. And that is where you get the absolute truth of you, where you need to be, where you need to go. Another reason why I'm popping on and talking about this is because there seems to be so much, myself included, confusion in the world today, especially if you're looking out this way and you're not doing that inward work, because the inward work needs to be first. You go here first. You create that quietness first, and then you go into the outward world. And I know people say to me, well, how can I create that first? I have to go to my job tomorrow. I have to do this. I have kids, blah, blah, blah. You make that time, you go there first. And when you make set times of going to your center point first, it grows. And the knowing grows. The knowing grows. And the feeling of strength to be able to follow that knowing grows. And this is vital to true living that is geared for you, not for the masses, not for mom and dad, not to show your friends how great you are, not for anything, but for you to follow your true authentic path and enjoy the ride as you do. And that's the difference. When you're on that authentic path, you're enjoying that ride every step of the way, and beginning to rein it all in through the art of balancing, through the art of sitting, through the art of focusing inward, is the beginning to that absolute authenticity that you deserve, that authenticity that is the path for you. And I know I have a video on this channel that talks about meditation in 3 easy steps, and I think everybody should start there, and I'm starting there again too. The three easy steps to meditation, you can build on that. Forget about the mudras and all the fancy clothes and all of this. Just get quiet, because the quieter you get, the more the veil begins to clear, the more the what do you call it, the maze begins to clear, and the path becomes more resonant, so that you can see those, the stones of your path glistening in the moonlight. You know the way. And don't think you solve everything in one sitting, or becoming great in meditation, or having, enlightened experiences. You don't. You're solving the path for now. There's more. You have to go to the end of that path for the next path to start, and so on and so forth. Life is a beautiful, interesting, fantastic journey, and we're making choices every step of the way. And sometimes it's hard to make the choices because you don't know the outcome. But truly, once you take the leap, and it seems dark at first, but then after that, the abyss clears and you go, wow, I feel totally different. Wow. And yeah, and so things begin to turn, everything is slow because this is the great mother. She's within us, she's around us, and everything with her is slow. Everything with the father is fairly fast. It's like, quick. If it's not this minute, it's overnight. But she is slow, and there's much more of her. So just be prepared that the process is kind of slow. I mean, for me, oh my God, everything seems so infinitely slow. And when I slow down and really slow down, I go, oh wow, there's actually a new depth to that I didn't see before, or there's a trap door there, or so the slowing down is critical to get used to it. And when you go slow, you can begin to attune yourself, especially if you're staying with the meditation or the rebalancing. There are many ways to do this rebalancing. I like to use the archetypes because I have a bit of a love affair with them. And that's called the Zodiac Code, and I will be talking about that more. Right now, I'm involved in going through a process with it first, and then I will be sharing it with you step by step on how to use it. So again, this video was about spirituality and the role of spirituality. It's not just some airy-fairy thing. It is what's building you, and it's building you through the process of individuation. Okay, I'm gonna let you go. I wanted to just pop on and say that, and I hope you all have a fantastic weekend, and I hope to see you soon. Bye for now.